overall thoughts on today's match, first of all?
I said to the players at the end, sometimes in life you don't get what you deserve. I thought we deserved more than the result in the end. So, yeah, really proud of the group. We changed shape. They bought in. They believed in it. We know their strengths. We wanted to counteract that. I think we did a good job of that. And we created enough opportunities to at least get a point out of the game. So really proud of them, disappointed with the result. And yeah, sometimes in life you don't get what you deserve.
It was Ainsley's first start of the season against, one of the best teams in the league. Mm-hmm. Can you just talk about the decision to, start a pretty inexperienced player against Orlando and how you would judge her performance today?
I mean, she wasn't on her own. We had a lot of young, inexperienced players on the field. I thought her and Sam were excellent. I thought they did a great job. I think we asked a lot of them. One, the physical amount we ask of them. But secondly, who they're playing against. And yeah, I thought both of them. I thought Sam Mazer was excellent. I thought Ainsley did a good job. I thought everyone did well, right? So I think I just said to the group at the end there, one, you didn't get what you deserved. But secondly, that has to be the standard that we set ourselves. We didn't show that in LA. So that's the key now, right? Like, how do we push on from here? If that's our standard, we can't let ourselves drop from that, and we can't stay where we are. We've got to kick on and push on. So.
And then you mentioned changing the shape that seemed to involve Maddie Darlene playing a lot in the defense. Could you just talk about, I assume it had to do with having her speed on the defensive end, but why in particular you trusted her to defend when most of her experience is as an attacker?
Yeah, she's played left back in college and in youth national teams a little bit, so she can do that. She has a very good engine too. She can get up and down the line. And the way we thought the game would go was exactly how it did, that we could get her into those spots, whether it be early or late. And yeah, change into a back five. It was either we put someone like Shay there, who, as you saw, has had a facial injury this week, or we start Maddie and see how long she can go there. And I think that's Lou's first start of the season too, right? So we've got a lot of... it's the first time that group's played together in a system that we haven't played before, against the best team in the league. And we were able to dominate a lot of the periods of the game, and arguably looked the most dangerous in big periods. I just watched the highlights back of the NWSL, and they obviously are very, 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 very lenient towards Orlando. But that's fine. But if you were here, you know that the story of the game is different than them highlights show.
I'll take Grant and then Shane.
So, Laura, Nadana and Sams might be the best center back pairing in the league. Mm-hmm. You guys were able to get in behind, especially Biadolo when she came and she was able to play in some passes. What was working for you guys in the attack?
I think multiple things, honestly. The structure of how we set ourselves up, I think, helps that because, yeah, they have to deal with Lynn or Jordan, but they also have Mondesir and Mercado to think about. And the aim was to try and separate them, right? And once we did separate them, we found spaces to play in. And yeah, they are who they are for a reason, and I've heard a lot of negative things said about their goalkeeper, and today she stood on her head, right, to get them the win. So I agree. I think that those two are good centre-back partnership. We caused them more problems than a lot of teams do. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get that finish.
So you mentioned just all the young players going up against the best team in the league. I mean, I know the disappointment after the loss, but what's kind of the combination of disappointment versus excitement about what this team could be rest of the season, years to come?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? I'm a terrible loser, so that's the ultimate emotion. But I think I'm the most disappointed for the players because I believe that they deserved more than that. And their work and their belief and their ability didn't get, it's not going to get the recognition it deserved, unfortunately. But as I said to them on the field, we have a massive game next week for many, many reasons. And our standard now is what we've set today, and we have to push forward from that. Our standard was not what we showed in LA. So there's loads of layers to why I'm really proud of the group. And yeah, I'm excited, obviously, for the future. I know we've got some experienced players that can, come in and help mesh, which we didn't have available today. Has landed from Europe on Thursday. Anna landed from Europe on Thursday. G's travel and international games meant she couldn't play today. Jess is probably longer term, unfortunately. But if we can get a little mix of the experience and the youth, I think we'll be just fine.
We'll take Nico here in the front.
So, to talk about that offensive push, especially in the second half, to put it into more of a simple term, would you say that this loss was more of a lack of finding that finishing touch, or would you say that Orlando's defense was too well put together as the best statistical team in the league?
No, it was us. You can't have the goalkeeper standing on her head and say that it's a defensive good show by them. I don't agree with that. If we hadn't had shots and we hadn't tested her, then yeah, we can talk about them being great defensively. And I do think they're very good defensively. But today their goalkeeper won the game for them. So you can talk about it however you want. That's reality. She made some very good saves in the moments that they needed her. And that's what good teams do. So sometimes they don't let you create chances. We created chances today.
To talk more about the second half when Lynn came on, to hear it from you, could you describe the effect that she had on the team after coming on versus from before coming on?
I think Lynn's a leader. And again, part of that experience meshing with the youth. Her and Jordan had a minutes restriction today. It was the easiest thing to do to flip-flop them first and second half. I don't think we got Lynn in the game the way we wanted to, but it's really the second time we've played with her. So we played with her in Coachella. We haven't played with her since. So it makes sense, right? I think we got more out of Jordan because I think we're used to playing with Jordan. So I think that's going to be a learning curve as we go. But we all know Lynn's qualities, and we all know that when she can get in behind an opponent or get 1v1 against an opponent, she's deadly. And we've just got to find a way where we can get her in those positions, because she got other people in those positions today when ideally we want her to be in there. So it's finding that mesh. But we'll be okay, because I think that obviously if we can keep her fit and healthy, she just gives us something different.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take one right behind right there. Yep, Callahan.
So Adamas came in in like 79th minute and immediately supercharged the offense. What do you think the plan is minutes-wise for her going forward?
Yeah, I think, Emery's a fantastic player off the bench. And that's okay, right? Like, every player wants to start. She should want to start. But there's no doubt that she impacts games when she comes on. And I think, does that sometimes mean you get the potential reward of a start? Yeah. But I also don't think we should dull down how important that role is, right? Like, if all she ever hears is she should start, it's not necessarily real. I think what she's very, very good at is when games get stretched and we can really push, she's excellent off the bench. Excellent. One of the best impact players that we've probably ever had, right? So I think right now I want her to be really good at that. And as her development grows, maybe that might mean that she starts more games. But right now, what she brings off the bench is exceptional. So I think we just got to find that balance for her.
And then we'll close here with Bella in the front.
I wanted to ask a little bit bigger picture. Obviously, we're 4 games into the season now, and the results aren't necessarily wildly different from last season, but things feel kind of different. From your perspective, how, if at all, does it feel different this season compared to last season?
Belief's the big thing, I think. And don't get me wrong, if the results stay as they have been the last 2 games, that belief will dwell, right? It will go down. But we believe wholeheartedly that we've got something that could be really special. I think the hardest part right now, like today's a really good example, to throw out the group we had with the amount of experience they've had is stupid, right? So the aim is to be able to mesh the two together. And to do that, we've got to get our players healthy. We've got to get Jess healthy. We've got to get G healthy. We've got to keep them healthy. Because I think right now, yes, the 2 results haven't gone the way we want, right? In reality, North Carolina's probably the one where you go, we shouldn't win that game, right? They don't lose at home, so bonus, great. The LA one's the most disappointing to me because, again, with the team we had out before kickoff, no one would have expected us to get a result. From a performance perspective today, I'm very pleased, super pleased. I didn't think that very often last year, right? There wasn't many times I came in here and went, oh yeah, we played really well today and we didn't deserve it. I didn't use those words very often. I'm saying that because I truly believe that. So I think that's a big difference, right? And that's what youth brings you. They bring you this enthusiasm and desire to want to prove that they can do it. And I believe when we get that mesh right, and when we get all our pieces going the way we want it to go, we'll be right up there. It's just we've got to get to that, right? And unfortunately, that not all of that is in any of our control through different reasons. You know, we haven't had Lynn, we haven't had Jordan, we haven't had Jess, now we haven't had G. Like it's constant right now. So we've got to find a way where we get everybody healthy. That to me is our number one priority. Is we have to be able to get our best players on the field. Because I think if we do that, we will beat anybody. And we proved that today. Because you think of the players that weren't playing, Jordan Hytem only half, Lynn only half, Jess and G not on the field, but the list goes on, right? So I think that's the key for me. We've got, and we weren't like that last year. Arguably our best team played a lot. So I think that's where it feels different for me.